And joining us now with more is Derek Muller, Notre Dame law professor and legal expert. Derek, great to have you back on. As Eric mentioned, the case now heads back to the lower court. Quickly tell us what that process could be like and how long could this potentially take?
Right. So most of the charges are still on the table for Jack Smith after this sending back to the lower court to take a look at. The court said some of Trump's actions, such as trying to persuade the vice president to do things, convincing electors to do things, putting pressure on state officials, those things might be unofficial acts. But instead, it's up to the lower court to look at the facts, let Jack Smith present his case, let Donald Trump present his case. And this is a process, though, that could take months, if not years, to get through to completion.
Yeah, and do you think this trial could be before the election? What's the likelihood of that happening?
The chances are basically zero that this goes to trial before the election. There are major complicated questions that the court has sent back. We've got this new opinion with these legal questions about what the Constitution says for unofficial acts and official acts. We have a lot of contentious factual questions about whether or not the acts were official or not, how much could be justified from the office of the presidency, and what executive power is necessary versus those things from a candidate running a campaign. So it will take a long period of time for the lower courts to sort out both the facts and the law. That's why we're not going to see a trial before the November election.
Yeah, and this is a little confusing to some folks, but what exactly does this mean, this ruling for former President Trump and also for special counsel Jack Smith's case against him?
Right, for Trump, it means that he lives another day, right? The delay is probably the most important part of the decision for him. A limited number of acts, such as pressure he put on the attorney general, are things that will be exempt from prosecution, but the universe is still open for other kinds of conduct to be subject to prosecution. So he lives another day, and we'll see what happens on remand. For Smith's team, it's definitely a blow, not only in it being a little bit slower, but that he has to come back to the table and sort of demonstrate why the acts, quite specifically, like detail by detail, conversation by conversation, document by document, were things that fall outside of the office of the president and his ordinary behavior, but fall on the side of those unofficial acts, personal conduct, political and campaign conduct. So it's just going to be a lot more work for prosecutors for this president and for presidents to come.
Yeah, and how do you think Smith is going to go about doing that, proving what is official and unofficial?
Right, so Trump's attorney at oral argument in front of the Supreme Court conceded some things are unofficial. For instance, we saw Justice Barrett's opinion in the case today indicate, well, when the president is calling up the Speaker of the House of Representatives and trying to pressure him to do something with electoral votes, that's not really what the president does. The president doesn't really have power over state legislatures or state legislators. So those are the things that fall outside of that power. Other things, such as conversations with your vice president, tend to be protected. So there's going to be some fights about these things to say, well, this conversation with the vice president was about a campaign topic and not a governance topic. So it's these kinds of subtle issues that are going to arise. Again, each statement, each document, sending it back and seeing whether or not there's going to be a case for prosecution to come.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. Derek, thank you so much for helping us sort this out. We appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me.